All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Welcome to our one of one of our final one of our final candidate forums in our series. If you have been tuning into the Black Lives Matter Greenwood, Mississippi Facebook page, if you've been following us, if you haven't, we have been having candidate forums. We had two back before the primaries with mayoral candidate Kendrick Cox, as well as Mr. Charles Brown, who was running for city council in Ward 7 in Greenwood. And so tonight we will be having two forums tonight. We'll go ahead and get this one started in a couple of seconds, but we will be talking with Mrs. Patricia Young, who is running for mayor of the city of Itta Bena. And we will also be talking after the forum with her. We will be talking with Mr. Nick Onishka, who is running for city council in the city of Greenwood. And so I'll go ahead and bring Mrs. Young up. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome to our candidate forum. So it's not really too formal. It's just I'll be asking some questions and you can feel free to answer them. However, just a dialogue on some of the issues that are happening and just to get people to know who you are and some of the things that you will be doing once you're mayor of the city of Itta Bena, because you will be the mayor of
Okay.
Itta Bena. We are speaking it into existence.
Love to
Um,
see that.
so I guess the first question I want to kind of ask is, so kind of tell everybody who you are and why you decided to run for mayor of Itta Bena.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Patricia Young, and I have lived in Itta Bena, all my life. I was raised in Itta Bena, and so I am a graduate of Leaford County High School. I graduated from Mississippi Valley State. My husband and I, we both pastor Atlanta Judah Ministry in Greenwood, Mississippi. I have a daycare, School of Champions in Itta Bena, where I serve parents and children there in Itta Bena. But I decided to, run for mayor because for years, we've seen a lot of things that needs working in Itta Bena. A lot of things that can be changed. Especially what really just pulled me up out of my seat is everybody probably know Itta Bena for the utilities, the light bills are so extremely high, and so we were just talking about it a lot, and there was no changes. So one day it just something just pulled me up out of my seat and say, look, you just can't just sit behind the walls and talk about it. You got to stand up and you got to voice it. And you got to keep working until you get some action, until somebody hears you. And because the light bills are so extremely high, they're high like utilities. So that kind of like pushed me up to want to run for the mayor of Itta Bena. And another thing is going to the board meetings is there's not a lot of transparency there when it comes to what's happening with the city funds. There's no transparency, and our books have not been done since 2014, and our city can't grow until that happens, until something happens with our leadership, and that being the mayor and the board and the city hall, where all of our financial administration work is done. And so we know that if there's no, the books are not done, it is very hard for us to get funding. It's very hard for the city to grow. We need money to grow. We need grants. There are some grants we cannot get except our books are done. And so with the light bills being so extremely high, we was like, where's the money? Where is the money? And where do we go from here? And we were threatening a blackout, threatening the lights, that we were not going to have any lights in the city. So, it was just like time to get up. It's time to get up and say something. It's time for change. It's time for new leadership. It's time for Itta Bena to move forward. And if we're going to move forward, we need a new leadership.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up because that leads actually into my next question, which is about your platform. Um, your platform talks a lot about city infrastructure. So can you kind of just give us a little bit more on like, what are some of the things you're gonna do about the city's infrastructure as far as the light bills and different things like that are happening that people are concerned about?
Well, we're actually, I've been working with trying to bringing in people from different. Actually, what happened is when we started talking about the light bills, and we started signing petitions so we can get help, and so um, then we got help, for people from out of town, from other states who saying, look, let's go in and try to help Itta Bena. And so we want to bring solar power to Itta Bena. We want to bring a solar power feel to the city of Itta Bena. Why? Because our president is talking about that renewable energy, and there's going to be a lot of money out there for that. And I think that working with the solar power company that want to come in and bring solar power to Itta Bena, it will bring our utilities down, make them affordable, and our citizens won't be worried about can I go to the grocery store? Am I going to have enough money to pay my mortgage because my light bill is just as much as my mortgage? So we want to make them feel comfortable when it comes to that. And then with our roads, we need some work done to our city roads, where even on our main streets we need there's a lot of holes, there's a lot of water leaks. We need funding for that so that we can travel safely, so citizens won't continue to tear up their front end alignments. So there's a lot of work that need to be done. So we want to find funding and hopefully work with our county and to bring infrastructure in where our sewer and our water is concerned, and so that we can seek for revenue, seek grants, other grants and revenues from our federal funding, and most definitely is reach out to our representatives like Bennett Thompson. I already tried to reach out to him and start talking, saying, look, Itta Bena need help, but we need to help ourselves. And that's where we want to start at, working on that, our lights, making it affordable for the citizens, fixing our roads so we can travel, and making our city like beautiful so people can want to come here. And,
And I'm glad you talked a little bit more about like the community doing the work together.
yeah.
Because like a lot of people, when they come to like even like when people know like about Mississippi Valley State University, they think that it's in Greenwood because Itta Bena is so small, and people don't really know about the city of Itta Bena. So kind of talk a little bit about like the relationship between Mississippi Valley State University and the city of Itta Bena, and how will you kind of work to bridge that relationship?
Well, for a while now, that Itta Bena and Valley has this coalition where we've been trying to come together and work together, because we know that needs to happen, because Mississippi Valley State is here. We are a college town, and so we need to bridge that gap in between us. So I wanted it to be like a trifold, where the city of Itta Bena, the school district and Mississippi Valley State comes together and work together as a trifold. And so that's gonna need that. And if that happens, then the city of Itta Bena, I'm seeing that growing very fast. If we can get the university to come and feel like they're part of the city of Itta Bena, and Itta Bena feels like we are part, that we are family together, and to see Mississippi Valley State, something downtown with Mississippi Valley State, the red and white, the green and white, Bluffalo County High School, the red and black, and Mississippi Valley State, the green and white, and the city of Itta Bena coming together, having something together. We have something on their campus. They have something in the city that brings the community together and we feel like we are in Itta Bena, like we are really homely, home in the woods, like it says, bring us together, and we feel like that everybody's involved, because I think that Mississippi Valley State has a treasure right here in Itta Bena. There's a treasure right here. I believe there's the students are here. There are the education. Valley has the education. We have the students, and if we bring that together, I believe we'll be powerful. Itta Bena will be. Then when people say Itta Bena and say Mississippi Valley State, they will connect us together. Say, oh yes, that's where Itta Bena is, where Mississippi Valley State is. And when they say Mississippi Valley State, oh, that's Itta Bena. So we want to tie that in so that everybody would know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Feel family like.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move to like my next topic is kind of
Okay.
off from like that particular portion, but a lot of people don't know that Itta Bena is one of few cities in the Delta that is a food desert. And so what that means is that there's no local grocery store
Yeah.
for people in the city of Itta Bena. They have to like travel to like Indianola, Greenwood, Rouville, different cities to get their groceries. And so
Yes.
what will be sort of your plan or your vision to help mitigate that, and at some point getting a grocery store to come back to the city of Itta Bena?
Well, Itta Bena is a food desert, like you said. There's the only like grocery store that we can like go to is like the Dollar General, that has put some fresh meats there and fresh vegetables. But we can work on Itta Bena. We can want to work on like a food pantry. A food pantry would be great for our citizens, where we can house food until we do get a grocery store. And like we've connected with the extension center, where you call and they get fresh vegetables, and like many of the churches around here already doing, some of the communities are doing, like we did with the squash. They call and say, look, we got this food, you can come and get it. We call our community and say, look, we have food here. So that's working with the food networks until we can get our grocery store where they don't have to travel. And that's one thing that we do need, and we want to work on getting a grocery store here in Itta Bena, so we won't have to go way to Grenada, or I think that's what most people go, or to Greenwood, and that we can keep the money here in Itta Bena. If we had a grocery store, we can keep that funding here, we can keep that taxes here, and it would help Itta Bena even more when it comes to our revenue.
Yeah, and so that's definitely something that I think that a lot of people, even in the city of Greenwood, are like discussing about like the fact that people have to come all the way to Greenwood to get groceries, even
Yes.
though it's just like a 20 or 30 minute drive. That's still kind of far for people to
And
have to.
everybody can't do that. Everybody don't have that transportation to get there, especially like our elderly people. They have to travel so far to get to a grocery store to get the things that they're needing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we need, most definitely, that we'll be working on.
We kind of talked about this. Well, you kind of discussed it a little bit earlier about the community's trust in the local government in Itta Bena. So, kind of discuss that a little bit more, and what are some of the things that you'll be doing to kind of fix that situation with people having such terrible amount of trust in the government in the city of Itta Bena?
Well, um, like I said, that my leadership will be trusted leadership. It has to be transparent, because the finances has to be transparent because they're not ours anyway. It's the city. And so it has to be transparent. And I believe that if the community knows what's going on when it comes to the city of Itta Bena, whether it's good or whether it's bad, the community needs to know. There needs to be a platform where they know what is happening, whether it's with the lights, whether it's with the infrastructure, whether with the finances, wherever it is, the community needs to know what is going, what's going on, and not at the last minute, telling them, because everything is public, it's public records. And so when I went with the transparency, there has to be where the community knows where the money, the funding, where is it going, what is happening at all times, because it is public records. And so not only do they need to find it out at the board meetings, but there should be like the platform right on bringing the city hall up to par, where we have the city continue to work on their own website where you can go, the citizens are able to go to that website and find everything that they need to find the city budget there. They can find they can find the city budget there. They can find the policies. They can find rules and regulations, anything that has changed. If we have that on that website where they can just go there with a click of a button and say, look, I can find everything I need on that website. And not only that, they can get to the website where they can pay their light bills if they can't get, if they're working over 5 o'clock when the city hall closed, they can pay their light bills from that website. And we won't have to worry about the lights getting cut off because they didn't make it there to pay
it. Yeah. And so that kind of ties a little bit into the next question I'm going to be asking about crime and the gun violence that has been happening. It hasn't been a big issue in the city of Itta Bena as much as it has been in around the county, but it is an issue that is kind of pressing for pretty much all communities at the current moment. How are cities working to bridge that gap between like policing and the community and different things like that? And so what are your thoughts on like crime and gun violence, and how will you be working with the community on the city's policing and different things like that?
Well, right now that the city of Itta Bena, we have a police chief, and then we have the county sheriff who's working with us right now. But I do believe that we're working on that Itta Bena needs its own police department back. It needs the police department back where there is community policing, where the police are in the community and they getting to know the families in their community, and they get to be a rapport and relationship in the community where the community can trust the police. And so and if the citizens see the police community in the community driving and they see them more often, I believe that would bring that crime down, because they know that the police are going to be in the community. We need community policing where the police get to know the community. They get to know the families there. When you get to know them, and then I believe that would bring down the crime in the community. It would bring down not just policing, but there are some other things that bring forth crime as well. But police, if the policing is there, if we have our police department back, we need more than just one chief. We need the police department back. And so that's something that we're working on. And we know that there's the COP grant. That's a COP grant that can help with that as well, with us getting that police department back in our community, where the police are in the community, policing, getting to know the community, building a rapport with the community, and so there can be safety in the community, so we won't gravitate into that crime like that, because that gun violence is serious. It's very serious, and it needs to be stopped. So,
yes, ma'am. So that's kind of all the questions I really have. So I guess the last thing I really want to, just bring up is like the COVID pandemic right now. We're Um, we're kind of at the end of it a little bit. We're at the point where everybody's getting vaccinated and different things like that.
Yeah.
And um, on the 15th, Greenwood is set to evaluate its mask mandate. And so there's different things that are happening right now where governments are opening up and different things like that. So kind of, I guess the last question I want to ask is about like the COVID pandemic and how will you as mayor be working with the city to make sure that the transition from, some of the things that have been put in place, during the pandemic, things like, limitations on businesses and different things like that, how will you all be working to kind of phase those things out?
Well, during this the pandemic, like I said, we because people are getting vaccinated, and that is slowly coming to some kind of normalcy. The city, we will still work according to what the CDC is saying, but I think that it's time that people are ready to get out and get into the parks, and but we're still wearing the mask. Uh, because I think it will be safe. When your mask is still safe in big crowds. But those that are vaccinated, because I'm fully vaccinated myself, but
Mhm.
we want to make it safe for everybody. We want to make it, but we do want to slowly gravitate back into normalcy, where they're able to get back out into the parks, and the children are able to get out. Because for a whole year we've been so locked up, and everybody has been locked up in the homes, and the schools have been shut down. And but with us at daycare, we've been continue to go and go and go. But we've been following CDC, being safe. So we want to do that here in the community, where the businesses are slowly opening back up so that people can come in. And so we want to continue to make sure that it's going to be safe for everybody. But I'm thinking that it's slowly opening up, so we can gravitate back into some kind of normalcy, and making sure that you're safe, if the things are safe, and that you're wearing your mask, and that until this thing just gravitates on out. So we don't know when it's gonna go away forever, but we know that we are at a place of safety now. I think some kind of normalcy, but we still can wear our masks, but still gravitate and still be social distancing, and opening parks. I think that the parks need to be opened back up, and I think that most people have done that. I see that some restaurants have opened back up, where the people are coming in now and sitting, eating, and I think we're gonna be okay.
Okay. So before we end, is there how can people, tomorrow is election day. How can people help you out tomorrow? What are things that you need people to do? Just a little bit about the campaign. What are some of the things you'll be looking at tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is the day. We've been out, we've been campaigning, so tomorrow is the day. We'll be at the polls. We need people who want to pass out flyers. If you want to go around the city, reminding people to vote. We'll be having a van running to pick up people who cannot get to the polls, or you don't have a ride. You can call 662-458-1249, and we'll get you to the polls. We want you to come out. We want you to vote. We want the people to vote for better. When you go to the polls, I want you to think about voting for better. I want you to think about voting for for a better community. A change has to come. So when you go to the polls, vote for better. We can do this. We can come together, and we can make this happen right here in the city of Itta Bena. So tell somebody, call somebody, text somebody, tell them vote, 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 vote tomorrow. And I ask you in advance for your support and your vote at the poll. Vote Patricia Young, your city mayor for the city of Itta Bena on tomorrow, June 8th. Vote Patricia Young for mayor, trusted leadership for the city of Itta Bena. And I thank you. And I thank Black Lives Matter for your, I thank Black Lives Matter for having me on tonight. And I really appreciate you so much.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And we are so happy to have you join us tonight. You are one of the candidates that we endorsed in our
Thank you
municipal
for the endorsement.
election, and so we're excited about what tomorrow is going to look like. So we're hoping we're pretty much speaking it into existence that you will be winning tomorrow. And so
I
we'll
appreciate it. Thank you guys for your endorsement.
yes, ma'am. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in to our forum tonight. I'm going to end this live, and in a couple of maybe 30 to 45 minutes, I'll be back with Mr. Nick Onishka for the second portion of our candidate forums tonight. And so thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll go ahead and end it on that note.